GDP used as a measurement to figure out how much product and how much services the country's making per person. Well, Canada ain't creating much of it. Calling it the lost decade, that's what they're doing. They're calling it the lost decade. Ever since Trudeau took office, both the States and Canada have had the same kind of problems. No matter what you think of it, both countries were locked down. And yet, Canada continues to lag and fall behind. First 8 years, all that progress was wiped out by the last 2 years. So what does that mean? It means that all the economic progress that was created, the more goods and services that we created here as a country, they were wiped out in the last 2 years because it's divided, right? It's divided by the number of people here. So that means that that massive influx of immigration has caused our overall GDP to decrease. So it's increasing, increasing, increasing. We bring in a ton more people. That's the denominator, if you remember your fractions, and that divides the amount of products and services. Boom. Lost decade. Trudeau sold all of our gold. That's right. The first thing he did when he came into office is get rid of real money. That's right. Zero. We have zero holdings now. Zero gold. While India and China keep stockpiling gold and all the rest of the BRICS countries. Not sure why anyone expected buy high, sell low to work, but that's exactly what Canada did under Trudeau. No one can afford nothing, and that includes retirees who are going back to work. Still time to recreate myself. Retirees returning to work seek routine fulfillment. Nothing to do with the fact that they're eating cat food and they can't pay for nothing. Not a word in this article about the fact that economic reasons are the reasons most retirees would ever return to work. The Canadian press making it out like they're just looking for fulfillment. And that's the reason they're going back to work, when they could be enjoying the fruits of their labor. More and more people are leaving for the U.S. That's right, Canadian-born specifically. Not everybody's sticking around for the party. Some people are just leaving. That's right, Canadian-born specifically. While immigrants come in and, I hate to say this, but use the system, that's really what's happening. We've seen them at the food banks and we've seen them using all of our getting freebies, right? Getting the freebies. I have a hard time. You have a hard time. But people coming from other countries, fresh, new arrivals, they have an easier time. Meanwhile, our services get harder and harder for us to access. Nobody's going to talk about that for fear that you're going to be called a racist or supremacist or anything of that nature. All I want to do is be able to speak the truth. In this world, it gets harder and harder every day. You get called names. Discussion gets shut down. That's where we're at today. I felt I got to do something, and I'm a comic book creator, so I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put together a comic book that's going to put a little bit of parody into this. It's going to make fun of all the rules. It's going to make fun of people who seek to shut down. My daughter, Galaxia, loves art. She loves illustrating, coloring, lettering. She loves comic books, especially the Japanese stuff, the manga. So I said to her, babe, let's put together a comic book. How do we hit him? Sometimes I think the best way to do that is through parody, making fun of them. Alexis, she gets kicked out of heaven, gets to Earth and realizes there's absolutely no freedom here. She gets called a racist, and she's an angel. The racist angel doesn't understand the rules. She had her wings, she doesn't anymore. Help her get them back. I remember reading 1984 as a youth, and, well, feels like we're kind of living it sometimes, doesn't it? You never know when you're going to fall on the wrong side of the censors. That's the reason I've got a mailing list at rowuncensored.com. Check it out. Keep up to date with me. Very low volume. It's just to keep in touch, just in case. You never know with big tech. Our elected officials don't represent the will of the people, or at least they seem to make decisions without our input. We feel, how can I put it, unrepresented. I know that things aren't the best in Canada right now, but I'm going to say this. I know we're going to come out of it. I'm not leaving. I'm not going to the States. I'm not moving anywhere. Why? This is my home. This is my country. This is where I grew up. And my kids, they don't know any other place. You know, this is what they know. So I just feel like you got to stick it out. That's my opinion. And you tell me yours. Thanks so much for being here.